Hello, welcome back to another episode of John the PM, where we believe that managing projects is not just a job, but a way of life. Now, one of the questions that some of the students have asked me is, what exactly is a career path for a PM, for a project manager? Now, when they first asked me that, I was a little challenged actually to answer that. The reason why is because it's really going to be dependent upon your organization. So I'm going to give some examples of how a career path may go. But honestly, there's a lot of different ways that this could roll out for you, on that side. So, when you're looking at your organization, one of the things that I would personally ask is, am I in the type of organization where it's kind of like an academy type organization? What do I mean? In other words, you go from cradle to grave. It's very hard in these type of organizations to start at the top. They more or less expect you to start maybe not at the bottom, but towards the lower rung, and then they will train, develop, and mentor you up the ranks. What are some examples of this? Procter and Gamble, UPS. There's some other great companies, that do it that way, on those areas. Normally, they're going to have their own training programs. Their career paths are fairly straightforward. In HR, organizational development folks will have a very good understanding of how that career path may look in their particular organization. So let's go back to understand what kind of organization you're in. The first one I said was like an academy type. Now, there is a different type of organization, and this organization I'm going to call the plug and play organization. A plug and play organization can be, honestly, another Fortune 500 company, or more likely, a smaller company. Maybe not. What do I mean by plug and play? Well, when the company brings you in, they expect you to know how to do the job. So they really don't have a lot of ramp up time. They kind of plug you in so that you can immediately start working on that side. Contrast that with an academy type organization where while they expect you to be competent, they also expect you to be trained, and they expect you to be mentored, and they expect to provide coaching for you. Whereas in a plug and play, you need to have those skill sets when you come into the door. In fact, in some of these organizations that I've seen, in order to be promoted, they literally, don't take the arguments too far, people literally had to leave the company and then come back in a higher position. Again, which one's better? They're both good. It's just the rules of the road as far as the way those organizations tend to look at it, on that side. So those are your, two major constructs. But let's talk about these projects and being a PM. More than likely, the first set of projects that you will kind of start off with will be smaller in size, dollar amount and number of people 100. Maybe it'll be, 100,000, maybe it'd be, be more than that, but it'd be some sizable amount of dollars that are associated with it, or a number of people that are to those different projects. And then over time, as your skill sets develop, as your acumen develop, as you grow, you will assume greater and greater responsibility, and the size of your projects will grow. Now, not just the size of the project, but the level in which you're operating in. Now, this is an interesting construct for just a moment. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult, trying to explain this. Let's just assume that you're using a sports analogy. One of the things that you quickly realize is that whether you're in the little leagues or in the big leagues, the majors, the same activity still occurs. So if you're in basketball, whether you're in little league, you still shoot. If you're in the NBA, you still shoot. If you're playing football, you're still passing and catching, receiving, blocking. whether you're in the Little League or in the NFL. If you're playing soccer, the same exact scenario. So the activity doesn't really change. However, the stage that you are playing on does change. When you're in the little leagues, you're really just playing in front of your family, parents, uncles, aunts, friends, neighbors around the neighborhood, at the little league or whatever, on those pieces. When you get up into college, the stadium gets bigger, but the same work is still being done. When you get to the NFL, the stadium is again much, much larger and the audience might be more global. But again, from the player's point of view, it's the same exact activity, just at a different level. That is another way to also think about managing projects. If you do the processes correctly, the work really doesn't change from level to level. What does change is the level that you're playing at, but the actual work doesn't. So, just to kind of wrap this up, let's just assume that you're in the beginnings of your career. The very first thing I would look at is trying to understand what kind of organization that you are actually in. In my mind, there are two big types. One is the academy type, and that's again where you go from cradle to grave. Or you're in a plug and play where you come in knowing how to do the work. And sometimes in those cases, in order to be promoted, you have to leave and then come back up, on those pieces. No harm, no foul on that in either way. But generally speaking, a lot of times what will happen is that you will do one or two things. Either you'll grow in responsibility, meaning that the amount of dollars and people that are under your project, under your purview, will become larger, and or the level that you're playing at, that you're working at, the managing projects at becomes higher, okay, on that side. So that's the way that I would tend to look at your career. In either case, in any case, it is incumbent upon you to make sure that you are in a continuous learning mode and really learning and honing and crafting your skills. All right, I hope this helps you out as far as different career paths for project managers. If you like this session, we would greatly appreciate it if you hit the like button. It helps us in order to be a service to you. Thank you and have an awesome day.